Hi everybody, welcome to the channel. This is Rob. For those of you that are new, welcome to the channel. For those of you that are coming back again, thank you for being here. And today we're going to be doing a very informative video, guys. How many times have you gotten a tarot deck and thought, oh my God, this is not what I was expecting? And, you know, before you even got the deck, you went ahead, you spent the money, and then in the end, you were disappointed. Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you what my experience with that has been. Which are the decks, my 10 top decks that I regret getting. I mean, it's just as easy as that. These decks I got, we're going to talk about size of the cards. We're going to talk about paper. We're going to talk about prices. I'm going to tell you why these decks did not resonate with me. So let's do it, you guys. Deck number 10. The deck number 10 is the Lover's Path Tarot. Now, I got this deck not too long ago. I've tried to connect with it. I just haven't been able to connect with it. Let me tell you why. And by the way, you guys, at the end of this video, I'm going to give you extra information that I think you're going to find very, very useful. So stick around for that little piece of advice. The Lover's Path Tarot. You guys, this deck is by US Game Systems. Number one, the price. The price was not, this was not an inexpensive deck. It wasn't super expensive, but it was also not super inexpensive. So the packaging, guys, the packaging is just very super mediocre. This needs to be revamped. They need to really think about a new marketing strategy for this, because this looks old and outdated. Not only does it look old and outdated, but then at the same time, it's just not really good quality. And once again, for the price that I paid for this particular deck, I think I wasn't expecting such a flimsy thing. So it comes in a box like this. So it's not a box. I think this is a sleeve. And then inside of the sleeve comes the package of the cards, and we'll get into the package, and of course we're going to get into the cards in a moment. But this is all that you get. This is what's inside of the sleeve. Of course, in here come the cards. It comes with this sort of thing here that just gives you. It doesn't come with a book. That was disappointment number one. And then it comes with this thing here, which gives you spreads. It's really huge, so it doesn't fit into the whole camera there, but as you can see, it has different spreads, right? And so is this helpful? No, not really. You can find this sort of thing online as well on Google, so you can Google this. And of course, these are the cards. It comes with, in this talk box, comes with a little pamphlet. Gives you just like a brief description of the major arcana and the minor arcana. Nothing to brag about. And then you get into the cards. This is the talk box. So that gives you a good idea. And the back of the card looks like this, which then again, I'm not crazy about something like this. You know, I find it so uninteresting. I can't tell you anything else about this. I just don't find anything interesting about this deck. I find it to be kishy. I find it to be run of the mill. I don't find really anything special about this deck. So that's that, you guys. That is the Lover's Path Tarot by Kris Waldherr by US Game Systems. Deck number 9. The Fox Universe Tarot, a self-care oracle. Already, with that being said, that was already confusing enough for me. I have to say that it was rather catchy at the beginning when I first looked at this deck, and I'm talking about the word tarot with oracle together, okay, for one image. Now, what is it? Is it a tarot or is it an oracle? Or maybe it's a combination of the two. Whatever they intended this deck to be, it didn't work for me. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. So this is not your regular tarot deck. It comes in a box like this. It opens into two parts, like you see. And I have to say that the materials for the box are really, really nice. And I think this is one of the reasons why this deck was expensive, because this is one of the reasons why it's on my number 9 of regrettable decks that I purchased, because the price. This was a very expensive deck and I don't relate to it at all. I don't even understand this deck. So the box is nice, as I said. It comes with a booklet like this, and the booklet is not very helpful. It goes right into the major arcana. It goes into the minor arcana. They call them arcanas, but they're not even. These are not coins. These are not wands. These are not your regular suits. And so as if this deck was not confusing enough, it keeps getting even more confusing. So reading this book will not even help you, so I'm not even going to go into it. I'm going to show you the cards right away. This is what the other part of the box looks like. It breaks into two. And so let's get into these cards. I'm going to show you what these cards look like. By the way, if I have to say something positive about this deck, is that the quality of the cards is very nice. The paper stock that they used. This is what the back of the card looks like. This is reversible. Oddly enough, they don't give you reverse meanings for the card, so I don't know why they would even make it reversible. And then when we look at the drawings, and by the way, it is gilded. It's gilded in a nice gold. Yeah. When you look at these drawings, you guys, I don't resonate with them. I don't even know what these are supposed to mean. This is fatigue. And by the way, this deck is for people that are going through emotional issues. So if they just, for example, had a breakup, if they are maybe going through addiction problems, it's supposed to help you pick it all up and put it together. It didn't do any of that to me. And I'm not going through those sort of issues. But, you know, when I saw it online and I saw it advertised, I thought, what an interesting concept, right? It's like a tarot with an oracle. But then when I got it, I just was so confused and it just didn't work, and it has not worked since. I've had this deck for about a year, and I've tried to connect with it, and I'm just not connecting with it. You guys, I'm not going to go any further. This is the Fox Universe Tarot, a self-care oracle. Did not work for me. Expensive. Don't relate to the pictures. I don't relate to the theme of the whole deck. I try to relate to this, and I just can't. So, and you guys, it's expensive. I mean, if this deck would have costed me not a lot of money, then I would say, you know what, it's fine. I'll keep it on my collection, but it didn't do that. So let's move on, you guys, to deck number 8. Deck number 8, the Lost Tarot. And you guys, I was so excited to get this tarot. You know, I saw it online and I looked for it hard. At the time when I was looking, it wasn't very easy to find. And so I went crazy looking for it because I really wanted it. And then I got it, and then it was like, oh my God. And it was expensive as well. And so I'm going to tell you why I didn't resonate with this tarot. So it came to me all the way from France to start with, because I couldn't find it anywhere else at the time. I've had this tarot deck for about a year. And then it finally came to me and I was so excited, and then bam. It comes in a talk box like this, as you can see, and a recently unearthed tarot of photos-based medieval imagery based on a camera designed by the polymath Leonardo da Vinci. And some of the pictures are cool, but the talk box is very run-of-the-mill. I think they could have done something better with the talk box. The cards are a larger size card. Let me show you. It's larger all around. So this is a regular Lo Scarabeo, and this one is wider and a lot taller, as you can see. So the size is not really a big deal for me. I like big cards. If any of you know or have watched some of my other videos, I like large cards. That's not what the problem here was, really. Problem number one, the paper stock and the card stock quality, it just doesn't really do it. Once again, you guys, one of the reasons why these decks are here, as I mentioned already, is because of the price. These are expensive, not all of them, but most of them are expensive decks. They just totally disappointed me when I got them, okay? Because the quality is not there. And so the quality on this one is definitely not there. This is very thin paper, as you can see. The back of the cards really doesn't do anything to me. And finally, the pictures are so silly at the end of the day. They are just totally silly. It looks just like a carnival or a Mardi Gras out there, and I find them to be confusing, and they don't speak to me. What is this? The 5 of coins. And I don't like the images on this deck either. For example, if I look at this men's face here, I don't really get it. I don't know if you can see it or not, but let me just get closer. And you can see what this card looks like. I mean, they're just silly, silly cards. Not all of them, of course, but most of them. This is the King of Coins. So shuffling, you know, you're gonna have to be creative with the shuffling because this is like a larger deck. Fan situation works pretty well on this deck, I have to say, because the paper is so thin that it works really well. But I want to keep moving forward because we have a lot of decks and I try my videos to be pretty concise and as fast as I can so that I don't take a lot of time from you. And so let's move on. This is the Lost Tarot, and let's move on to the next deck, deck number 7. Deck number 7, you guys, is the Botticelli. And this is by Scarabeo. And I was so excited to get this deck because I love decks that are on the history side. I love decks that I have some of the Leonardo da Vinci decks. And then I saw this Botticelli deck and I thought I have to have it. And at the end of the day, I was disappointed. And I'm going to tell you why. First of all, of course, the price. Not a cheap deck, not super expensive, but also not a cheap deck. And but I was expecting something else for the price that I paid. Let me show you what's inside. It comes in a talk box like this. And so the talk box is really nothing to brag about. It's just a regular talk box. And if you ask me, it's sort of flimsy. So I don't work with this deck at all. It comes with a Scarabeo booklet like this, which comes in different languages, and this one comes in English, Italian, Spanish, French, German, and Portuguese. And so it goes right into the meanings of the major arcana and minor arcana, and it's just one of those Scarabeo little booklets. Pretty good for nothing, really. And these are the cards. And I'm just, look, they don't even fall well together. You see that? There's like a big gap there. They don't, look at this. And you know why this is doing this? Because the paper is one of the cheapest paper stocks I have ever held on my hand. And so, once again, this deck cost me about $30 plus shipping. So, and then I got this and I was like, oh, no way. And once again, I was really excited. One of the things that really captivated me about this deck and why I wanted to get this deck is because of the gold, right? This is the Botticelli, the golden Botticelli, because of all the gold that they've put in here. And so if you see, it has a lot of gold in it. This is the devil. It comes with a presentation card like this. And I have to say that the printing is not bad. It's kind of okay. But it's just this paper stock quality. It's just really awful. This is the back of the card and it is reversible. And it just doesn't do it, you guys. I can't even hold this. Now, this is a regular Scarabeo, maybe a little bit bigger. No, it's exactly the same. And although the pictures are nice, and I think they did a wonderful job with the pictures and the colors, and for such a big artist, such a Botticelli, you would have thought that they would have done something a lot more memorable than what they did here. This really just doesn't do Botticelli justice, and I think they sort of botched Botticelli, if I can say that. But it's just not one of my favorite decks, you guys. The paper, and what bothers me the most about this deck is the quality of the paper stock. So this is number 7, you guys. Number 7 is Botticelli by Scarabeo. One of my most disappointing decks that I purchased. Let's move on. Deck number 6 in my collection, most disappointing. The Bygone Tarot. And this deck, I looked at for a long time, and I had it on my basket for a long time, and I just couldn't decide if I should get it or if I should not get it. I had this feeling about this deck, and in the end I ended up getting it. This deck was expensive. This deck came to me all the way from England, and I was so excited to get it, and then I got it, and it was just one of the biggest disappointments I've ever had. Let me show you in there. This deck, as I just mentioned, was expensive. And this deck is the Bygone Tarot by Finicky Design. So, and it's online. You can go online and you can look for this deck. It looked beautiful and comes in a tuck box like this. Very flimsy tuck box, by the way, not even worth it. And when I looked at this deck online, it looked so beautiful. And then, whoa. So it comes with a small booklet like this. It's really worthless. It goes right into the major and minor arcana. And this is one of those linen papers, but it's not even like the good linen paper. This one is so slippery, it's almost impossible to hold on your hands. And so I feel that for the money I paid, I just didn't get my money's worth. Let's start with the paper. The paper is, as I mentioned, that linen, but this is one of the worst linen papers I have ever held. If you've seen some of my other videos, you will know that linen paper is not my favorite. I find it slippery, and I find it very hard to hold on to and to work with. And this is no exception. The problem with this is even further. It goes even deeper than that. This is extremely flimsy paper. This is you can't even say that this is paper thin, because this is paper. This is just so flimsy. I can't even tell you guys. It's just one of the worst paper stocks I have ever had. It's not gilded. I have to be so careful when I'm working with it right now because it just goes all over the place. The printing and the colors are just not really worth it. Now, I have to say that the drawings are really cool, and that's one of the things that I really liked about this deck, and that's one of the reasons why I was attracted to this deck, because I thought that the paintings or the drawings were so wonderful. I totally relate to them, but I just can't work with this deck. This deck is just so bad quality that I cannot even hold it. But really beautiful pictures. I wish they would have used better paper. I wish they would have done something better with this deck. This is the back of the cards, and it's not reversible, as you can see with the moth, and it just slides everywhere. This deck is so flimsy to work with. It's just really a mess. So that is the Bygone Tarot, you guys, and we are going to move on to Bianco Nero Tarot by Marco Proietto. This is a US Games Systems deck, and it's number 5. I thought that I was going to be attracted to the drawings. I looked at the drawings. I tried to connect with this deck, and in the end, it just didn't work out. I am going to tell you what is the matter with this deck for me. It comes in a tuck box like this, and this tuck box doesn't really hold well at all. It is one of the cheapest tuck boxes that I think US Games makes, and this is the back of the box. And so tuck box, really not desirable. So presentation is really non-existent there. It comes with a little booklet like this. It's really run-of-the-mill. It doesn't really tell you anything. It goes into the major and minor arcana, and then you get the cards. And the cards are not gilded, as you can see. This is the back of the card. They are reversible, so that is a good thing if you read in reverse. And they are, like the title says, Bianco Nero. So this is black and white, and these images are black and white. I don't have a problem with black and white. I have many decks that they have images that are just black and white. I just think that the paper stock on this deck could have been a lot better. And maybe if I think a black gilding would have been appropriate for this deck, as it is already very simple. I think could have handled it. Printing is not that bad. I just don't really relate to the images that much. For example, the images are a little bit too sexy, I guess. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just something that I don't prefer on my decks. And so if you look at the swords here, it's just, it looks a little bit too model-like. I don't think, is it just faith that a beautiful woman like this is tangled up and she can't get herself out? It almost looks like sexual to me. And I've done a couple of readings with this deck, and the seeker, almost every seeker that I did a reading for had something to say about the images on this deck, and they're like, oh wow, she's got big breasts there, and wow, what a sexy image. And so, you know, it was just sort of like that, and it kind of took the seeker's attention away. This is still an interesting deck. I just don't really use it for the reasons that I just mentioned, and it just doesn't work. The images don't work, and the paper quality is also very flimsy for me. And so when you shuffle this deck, you can shuffle it, and it'll shuffle pretty well, I have to say. You have to be careful because it's such a light deck that it goes all over the place. If you want to do a fan situation, that works absolutely wonderful. So let's pull one or two cards. The 8 of Wands, pretty typical, right? Let's pull a couple more. What do we have here? We have Strength. And there she is, you know, with her sexy outfit there and the breast almost coming out. And it's okay, but it just doesn't work for me personally. Like I said, I'm very open, and but just some images just don't really work. And this is one of those decks that the images didn't really work for me. But then again, it is what it is. Look at this Page of Pentacles. It's fine. I appreciate it. And I have to tell you that the artwork is really cool, but I just don't know, doing a reading with this deck just didn't really pan out well for me. So that's one of the reasons why it is number 5. And I was really disappointed because I really was looking forward to getting this deck. And so now, you guys, we are going to move to deck number 4. Deck number 4. Trionfi della Luna, Patrick Valenza. Now, you guys, this deck is so beloved out there. And there's 2 things on this deck that just 3 things that just blew it away for me. Number 1, the price. This is an expensive deck. I mean, I can't put it any other way. This is just an expensive deck. I have to say that that's number 1. I thought that for my price, I was going to get something better than what I got. So the quality is really not there. As you can see, this is a talk box, rather flimsy, if I may add. This is really a flimsy talk box, and it's really not, this is not what I was expecting. And I know that I may be one of the only people out there that doesn't like this deck. I've seen a lot of reviews out there, and I see that a lot of people just love this deck. For me, it just didn't work. This paper card stock quality is really, really undesirable for me. This is very thin, okay? This bends easily. The printing is also not good. It is a peep deck, and I'm not into peep decks. And as you can see, I mean, it is more than just your regular pip. I think that he's a great artist. Patrick Valenza is a wonderful artist. And I think that making a deck like this is something to be commended, but I just didn't relate to the images either. And I don't like peep decks. And although I looked at reviews of this deck and I knew that it was going to be a peep deck, I went ahead and I bought it. You guys, this is an expensive deck. So artist is very talented, I have to say. And marketing, they have done absolutely well. I think you see this deck almost everywhere. But just didn't do it for me. And by the way, you guys, when it comes to these decks, be careful. There's so many fakes out there. I bought my deck directly from Patrick Valenza, and he sent it from New York. I think he's located, and he sent it to me. So I do that with almost all of my decks. When I can buy my decks directly from the creator, I will do that. And so I did that with this one, but I paid a lot of money because shipping was expensive, and at the end of the day, just didn't work out. Let's move away from Trionfi de la Luna. Deck number 3, Corrado Roy, Murder of Crows Tarot by Los Scarabeo. You guys, this made it to number 3 because I was super heartbroken, I can say, about this deck, because I wanted to connect so much with it and I wanted to really have it. And this is an pretty expensive deck, not as expensive as some of the other decks that I've shown you, but it is middle of the road. And I really wanted to connect with this deck so bad. And just at the end of the day, I just didn't connect with it. Now, let me show you all around it. The presentation of this deck is pretty good. It is pretty good. It is a Los Scarabeo deck. It comes with one of those boxes like this. This is the other side of the box, as you can see. I'm going to put this here. And these are the cards. It comes with a booklet like this, which for Los Scarabeo is one of their larger booklets. And it comes in different languages. As you probably know, Los Scarabeo does this in different languages. This one is in English, Italian, Spanish, French, Portuguese, and Russian. And so it goes into the major arcana, minor arcana, and it's just run-of-the-mill kind of a booklet. And so these are the cards. The paper stock, or the quality card stock, is pretty good. I'm happy with it. It's not bad. And if you know Los Scarabeo, they have different paper qualities for their cards. And this is one of those decks from Los Scarabeo where they do a better paper quality. This is the back of the card. It is reversible. The back of the card is not my favorite either, so it really doesn't do anything for me. And I'm going to tell you why, the biggest reason why this deck made it to where it is on my list of disappointing decks is because of the images. These images are just too gruesome and are just too dark, and there is no way I could do a reading with this and not have a negative outcome to come out of this. Now, there's a lot of people out there that will tell you, this is a shadow deck. You can really use it for shadow deck. And that's fine, but I like to use I like when my decks are really versatile. And this is one of those decks that even if I use it for shadow work, I don't necessarily need my shadow work to be so dark. And this is just one of those really dark decks. I cannot seem to use it. Every time I pull it out, there's just this sense of negativity that comes out of it. And it's just so dark. And also the images are not crisp. And I appreciate the artwork for it. I'm going to end up keeping this deck. I give it away, but it doesn't matter how I slice it. These images are dark, these images are negative, and I just don't see the use in it. And this is why this deck made it to my undesirable decks on my shelf. Look at these images. They are just so dark. I cannot even find the words when I do a reading with this deck, how I can really explain. I mean, look at this Judgment card. With Judgment card is one of my favorite cards in the entire deck. And I see the Judgment card as a very powerful card. I can't really, I feel like Judgment here is completely underrated. And I just can't do it. It's too much for me. Look at this Nine of Cups. How is this supposed to be satisfaction? How is this supposed to be one that is satisfied with his or her achievements and feelings? It just can't. Look at this Magician. This Magician looks like he's out there to do some really evil stuff. And I don't really look at the Magician that way. I look at the Magician in another light. No, I don't. I love crows, and that's one of the other reasons why I wanted to get this deck. But if anybody has this deck out there, which I'm thinking a lot of people have this deck, and also I've read so many reviews about this deck, and I looked at so many videos of this deck out there, and people saying that they just love this deck. I just don't. It didn't work for me at all. This is the World card. It just didn't work for me. This is the 8 of coins, the Ace of coins. And look at this Fool card. This looks almost like a death card to me. So you guys, this doesn't do it for me. I cannot do any kind of reading with this deck. And that is the reason why this deck is not a beloved deck by me. But nevertheless, interesting drawings. This is the Tarot Vintage, Arthur Edward Waite and Pamela Coleman Smith by Los Scarabeo. This is one of those special editions that Los Scarabeo came out with, and I was really, really looking forward to getting this deck very, very much. It's not an inexpensive deck. This was actually a pretty expensive deck. I got it and I shoved it into the undesirable shelf. I'm going to tell you exactly why that happened. So it comes in a box like this, which the box is okay. It's a pretty sturdy box, but there's nothing it's nothing really to take to the bank. And this is the other side of the box. And these are the cards. It comes with a booklet like this, which for Los Scarabeo is a pretty thick booklet. And so if you know these books, this is the same as many of Los Scarabeo books. This goes into the it goes right into the major arcana. It's in English, Italiano, Spanish, and Portuguese, and then it goes into the minor arcana, and it's just very run-of-the-mill. So then you have the cards here, and the cards are the same size as a Los Scarabeo, and so for that it's sort of the same. And then you get into the cards. They try to make like a vintage sort of a look for it, and it just looks so fake. It just doesn't do it for me at all. As you can see here, they try to make this paper look old, but it just didn't cut it. This is a very flimsy paper, so totally flimsy. This paper quality is really not good. It gets damaged super easily, and even though they are very traditional images, these are the Arthur Edward Waite and the Pamela Coleman Smith, it just doesn't do justice. The colors are muted because they try to make it a vintage sort of, or they try to give it a vintage look. They muted the colors, and it just didn't work. None of it works here. Look, this is the Sun card, and the colors are so muted. It just doesn't do it justice. They should have just kept the colors lively, because doing this just didn't really work. As I said, you guys, I got this deck and I put it right back into with those decks that I don't use. It's just sitting there, and this deck will be going away. I will not be using this deck at all. And I went on a trip and I said, you know what? I'm going to take that deck, and I'm going to take only that deck with me so that we can connect. And I had it for 10 days on my trip, and I took it out every day and I tried to connect with it, and it just didn't work. It just would not connect with me. So that is the Tarot Vintage by Los Scarabeo. That just did not work, you guys. Let's move on to the number one deck. Number one, Tarot Nuages by Niedman. This is a US Games deck, and I was so looking forward to getting this deck. I saw it. I even got it as soon as it came out on the market, and it cost me pretty good money. It's not super expensive, but it cost me pretty good money. And it comes in a box like this. And I saw it online. I saw somebody doing a review of it, and I thought, oh, what a cool deck. This is the other side of the box. So it's a box that breaks into two. It's the back of the box. And these are the cards. It comes with a book like this, which is pretty good. The quality of the book is pretty good. It is your run-of-the-mill sort of a book. It doesn't really have any information that you're going to find super useful, but it is there, and I think the printing of it is okay. And these are the cards. First of all, one of the things that I just totally hated about this deck is the back of the card. This doesn't work for me. I don't find this good at all. The drawings of this deck really bother me. I don't relate to these drawings whatsoever. And I've tried to connect this deck time and time again, and I just can't do it. I don't connect with it. I don't see the meaning behind it. The printing of it is also not very good. The paper quality is okay. It's not the worst paper quality. And I think that for that, I will keep it in my collection, but I never take this deck out. I think I took it out 1 or 2 times and I put it right back. I just don't connect with these images at all. The colors are boring and muted, and it's just not, it's a deck that I never work with. And I'm so disappointed because I really am into fairy tales. I'm really into different worlds, and I like a tarot deck that takes me away. For example, I've done a video on the Paulina decks and a couple of other fairy tale decks, and I just love them. You know, they really take me away. It adds a special feeling to my readings, and I thought that this deck was going to be able to do that, and it just didn't. It didn't do that at all. In fact, it's very confusing. Most of the times I don't really know what I'm looking at, or I have to really pay attention. So I find that the images are confusing once again, and they don't really speak to me. Nothing really stands out. I find it to be muted and boring, and the images are really what doesn't work for me on this deck. And so with that being said, you guys, this is the Tarot Nuages. This is my number 1 least favorite deck on my collection. And you guys, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to the channel. That helps me a lot. And by the way, you guys, I said at the beginning of the video that I had some information that I thought you were going to find useful. And I do. And I think it's very important to touch on this, because these are some of the decks. This is extra. These are not in my number 10, but these are some of the decks that I've gotten that are just decks that they're almost like if they were fake. For example, this one is a true black. I really wanted to get the true black, and I wanted to get it through their website, but it was so expensive. And I got this deck really some years ago. The real deck was so expensive. And then I saw this on Amazon and I said, why is this deck so cheap? Well, this is an imposter. This is why this deck is so cheap. And I got it, and it's just, you know, I can't even tell you how cheap this is and how bad this is. That just everything is really terrible. The printing is bad. The card quality is bad. Everything is just terrible. So be careful. My advice to you guys is, if you want to save some money because you want to get some of these decks that are on the cheaper side, be careful, because they're imposters. These 2 decks were on Etsy for about $75 each, and they had them reduced to like $10. And so I thought, wow, I wonder why. And well, when I got these decks, I was just so disappointed. And this was on Etsy. This was on Amazon. These are just absolute horrible decks, quality decks. And it's kind of sad because the drawings are not bad, but they're just really bad quality decks. And this is the same thing. This one is not even having good drawings. This one is called the Complete 70 plus 2 cards deck. Golden Path is called, and it's just, once again, it's just so cheap. This tuck box is absolutely horrendous. The paper quality is horrible, and it just, you know, be careful with these things, because you end up wasting money and you think, well, they were so cheap, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's not only that they were cheap, you guys, you know, they take space, and it's sort of a disappointment. So that's a takeaway that I want you guys to take with you. be careful when you're buying decks out there that you're thinking are going to be really worth it, or you're saved money. I was fooled by all of that, so I'm not. This decks I bought a little while ago, and I'm definitely, these decks are going to disappear from my house because they are just such a letdown. But you guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. And once again, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content. And as I always say, you guys, until the next time.